Hello everyone, it's Dashabella and Emperor, and welcome back to another Star Equestrian video. Today's video is going to be a little special because we will be looking at all of the new stone Friesians that were added into Star Equestrian along with the latest Star Equestrian fantasy breeding update. There were a lot of Friesians added into this family. I think off the top of my head, there's like 9. I could be wrong, okay? I could be wrong, but there were a lot of horses added into this family, and they are incredibly popular. They're popular because they're probably like one of the better looking fantasies. If you're into the Friesian model as well, they have the Friesian model. So if you are somebody that only rides Friesians, because I know a lot of players only like the Friesian model, then you're definitely going to be interested in maybe getting one of these fantasy horses if you'd like to add a fantasy Friesian to your collection. So we're going to be talking about how to breed these horses, how to get them. I'll also just quickly go over their stats as well, so you guys can decide whether you want to breed for a particular Friesian or not. So let's hop into it. Firstly, one part of this recipe that you cannot do without is a Vulcan Friesian, and I'm riding one right now for anyone that is new to Star Equestrian. So this is Emperor. He's my Vulcan Friesian, this amazingly beautiful flaming horse. And the Vulcan Friesian is one of the parents required to breed all of these stone Friesians. If you don't have this horse, then you're not going to be able to breed any of these horses that I'm about to show you, unfortunately. Now, again, for my newer Star Equestrian players, if you don't know how to get this horse is actually part of the Star Equestrian club reward system. You can get this horse for free if you are part of a top ranking club and you have a chance of getting it every week. It's not a guarantee, it's a chance, and that chance depends on how well your club ranks for that particular week. So as you can see here, this is the Champions chest, and this is one of the weekly chests that you can get if you play Star Equestrian and you participate in the club system. So this chest is only available for the top 50 clubs on the leaderboard every week, and this is the weekly leaderboard. It resets every Monday. The timing for it is going to depend on your time zone. Because I'm in Australia, it resets in the morning for me, but if you're somewhere on the other side of the world, it could be like in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, so keep that in mind. Do not be deceived by the pictures down below, because some people, myself included at one point, I didn't read. You do not get all of those rewards. You are not guaranteed this horse for being in a top 50 club. Being in a top 50 club not only makes you eligible for a chest, but it will give you a chest with either better or worse odds of getting the Vulcan Friesian. So if you want to have the best chance of getting the Vulcan Friesian, you really want to try to aim for a top 3 club. So one of the top 3 clubs for that particular week. So very quickly, here are the odds. If you are in a club that is barely making top 50, then you're only going to have a 2.5% chance of getting that Vulcan Friesian. Very, very tiny odds. It gets better. If you're first place, you have 50% chance, so you're almost guaranteed to get this horse in your chest. 25% for second place, 20% for third place, and then 10% for clubs in 4th and 10th place. Now, personally, I think if you're in a club that is in the top 10, you're in a really good spot already. But if you also are totally okay with putting in the hard work and getting those points in, then you can definitely qualify for a top performing club. So best of luck to anyone that's trying to get this Vulcan Friesian or hasn't gotten one yet. They're wonderful horses. They're so good for competitions as well. Highly, highly recommend you get this horse if you're new to the game and you don't have a fantasy yet. So aside from having the Vulcan Friesian, you will have to have other fantasy horses to make the new fantasy Friesians. But let me introduce to you very quickly the fantasies that we're going to be looking at today. Back to my wonderful horse encyclopedia. It's very scuffed, so please excuse my graphics. But yeah, this is my little horse encyclopedia. Let's start from the very top here, shall we? So the Crystal Friesian, I don't know why this horse is by itself, but it is part of the Stone Friesian family. This might be a bug. It is actually like this in-game as well, so just keep in mind. But the Crystal Friesian is considered part of the Stone Friesian family. Next, you have this foresty looking Friesian. It's called a Stone Bloom Friesian, but it's a foresty theme. This is not the only Friesian in this family with the Stone Bloom name, so I'm just going to kind of refer to it as a forest Friesian, and you guys will understand why a little bit later on. Next, we have the autumn version of the Stone Bloom Friesian. So beautiful orange colors. It's got some horns on it as well, a very thick autumny mane. Next, we have the spring version of the Stone Bloom Friesian. So it has that willow tail, purple flowers, and its very long flowing mane. Beautiful green horse as well. You'll love this if you're into like very earthy toned horses. Then we have the Summer Friesian, the Stone Bloom, this golden one here. It's got a plait in its mane, and obviously this is, once you know one of the parents, you'll know why it looks like this, but a beautiful golden toned Friesian kind of gives me like very Rapunzel-y vibes, like super fantasy-like in that regard. I do think this is very underrated. Next we have the Solid Stone Friesian, so now we actually have Friesians with different names. I have a feeling they'll change the names for these other horses in the future. So if it does change in the future, like just disregard the names I've given these, and yeah, okay, you guys are smart enough to do that. Yeah. So next we have the Solid Stone Friesian. This one looks a little bit plain in the picture, but once you see it in game, it might make a little bit more sense. But I think it is one of the more like just, I guess plain really is the best way to describe this horse. Next we have the Snow Bloom Friesian. This is more of a winter themed Friesian from the Stone Friesian family. Personally not one of my favorites, but I know some people love this horse for its very Trojan horsey look. Next we have the Goldvein Friesian. So this is a mix of just like solid stone and gold combined and made into a horse. Really cool looking horse. Not my cup of tea, but I can really see what the developers are trying to do with this horse when they made it. And lastly, we have the Electric Marble Friesian. Now, I'm sorry for the image being cropped because at the time I did not have a full picture. So this is kind of what we have, but I will show you the full thing in game. Probably one of the flashiest, if not the flashiest horse of this family. And trust me, I think once you see this horse, you'll totally understand what I mean by this, but a very highly like requested breed, I think. If anyone was given a chance to breed these horses, I think a lot of people would breed for this. So now that you know what all these Friesians look like on their portraits, let's have a look at all of these horses in game, because just like the Atlantean Arabians and a lot of the other fantasy horses, the pictures don't do these horses justice because there are special effects tied to these horses that unfortunately we can't see in a static image. We're also going to go in order of easiest to attain to hardest to obtain as well. So you'll see what I mean by this, but there are some horses that have prerequisites that you have to meet before you can breed them. So let's go to the first horse, shall we? First things first, we're going to be starting with the forest version of the Stone Bloom Friesian. So if you've played this game, you probably know what one of the parents is going to be for this horse, but to breed this particular horse, you need to have a Vulcan Friesian and a Forest Lord. These are the fixed parents for this combination. There is no other way to breed this horse. This is the only pairing that you can use to make the forest version of this Stone Bloom Friesian. Now, at first, I thought this horse was going to be quite boring because I like the Forest Lord, but when I saw the picture at first, I was just like, this looks plain. It looks boring. It's just a grassy horse. But once you do get into the game, it is pretty interesting. Not just because of the look, but because of the particle effects on its mane. There are fireflies flying around this horse's mane, and I feel like this is such a beautiful touch to a horse that Otherwise would have been probably one of the least liked horses in this family. I know a lot of people didn't breed for this because they kind of just think it looks bleh. But I'm very sure there's going to be someone out there that's going to really enjoy how this horse looks. After I saw this horse in game, I'm kind of leaning towards breeding for this once I have some extra gems. But definitely consider this horse if you really want to have something that's kind of flashy, because I think out of all the horses in the Stone Friesian family, this one is probably one of the only ones to have an extra particle effect over its mane. Next up, we have the Autumn Friesian. So obviously a very Autumn Friesian theme going on here. The parents for this is the Vulcan Friesian and the Autumn Clydesdale. So you can probably imagine where the mane and horns came from, and even the tail. Like, it's literally just a hybrid between these two horses. And I think out of all of the seasonal variants of the Friesians, I do think this is probably one of the better looking ones. It's probably, I don't know if I want to say it's the best, because I'm not like a super big fan of all the seasonal Friesians, but this one is definitely one of the more interesting ones. I think the only thing that sort of puts me off this horse is just the way that the mane is made. And this mane, it's very stiff, but it's always been like this on the Autumn Clydesdale as well. I do love the coloring on this horse, just those beautiful reds and oranges and yellows, and having that incorporated into a stone horse. Yeah, I'm not like a big fan, but I do like the way this horse was made. Next, we have the spring version of the Friesian. And I think this is probably one of the ones I like a little bit better in the seasonal family. So the parents for this is the Vulcan Friesian and the Spring Clydesdale. And I've always liked how the Spring Clydesdale looks. Yes, the tail can look a little bit fat and chunky at times, but I think it transitioned really well into this fantasy Friesian hybrid. The mane is beautiful. I love this very cool tone green that they've used on this horse, the purple flowers. Super adorable. I said this before, if you are somebody that is like very into nature and you love flowers and you love Friesians at the same time, this might be a horse that you'd want to get your hands on as well. Super pretty. Yes, the tail can seem chunky at times, but I mean, I've seen this horse in game ridden by other players, and I kind of like how this one turned out. It's probably one of the better Friesians to turn out compared to some of the other ones in this family, but very cute horse. I do like this. Next, we have the Summer Friesian, the Rapunzel Friesian. This one, I think it's going to be hit or miss for people, I feel. I don't think everyone is going to like it, but I think there's definitely some people that will love it and some people that are going to hate it. To get this horse, you need to breed the Vulcan Friesian and the Summer Clydesdale together. Now, unfortunately, this horse is going to be expensive to get. You actually cannot get this horse for free, because to get the Summer Clydesdale, you need to get up to, I think, VIP 5, which is, I think, after spending like $300-ish on Star Equestrian. So this horse is going to be a bit of a statement, I suppose. Like, if you have this horse, people know that you are VIP level 5. I do like the theming for this horse though. It is just a beautiful golden color. Look, it's a Rapunzel stone horse just because of the mane. I think that's probably just the best way to put it. It just really makes me think of Rapunzel. Again, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And thankfully for me, I'm kind of like in the middle. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I can absolutely see what kind of direction that they were trying to go with in terms of this horse, because you think of summer, you think of just the beautiful golden sunshine and sunflowers, like basically yellow is probably the color for summer. So this Friesian, I think it fits, especially considering the mix of parents here. So really cute horse, but keep in mind you cannot get this horse for free. Next, we have the Winter Friesian, or I think this one is called, it's called the Snow Bloom Friesian. Sorry guys, I have to take a look at my notes again. But the Snow Bloom Friesian, you are going to run into the same issue with this horse if you are somebody that does not buy gems. You have to have a Winter Clydesdale. So the combination for this is the Vulcan Friesian and the Winter Clydesdale. And to get the Winter Clydesdale, you have to be VIP level 6 to even get the Winter Clydesdale. There is no other combination that you can use to get this Friesian. And to get a Winter Clydesdale, that's $600 worth of gems, like minimum $600. I think on average, people are going to spend around $650 to $700 on gems just to get to this VIP rank. So just like a lot of other horses in the game, this horse is a bit of a statement horse to tell people like, hey, I'm VIP level 6, because we don't have co-breeding, so we can't borrow other people's Winter Clydesdales. Now, I think my feeling about this horse, if you like this horse, great. I'm happy for you. But for me, like, just knowing that to even get this horse, you have to have the Winter Clyde, I feel like this horse turned out so bland. Like, it's just a stone cold horse. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just a stone cold horse. There's really not a lot going for it that makes me feel very attracted to it. Like, if you like this look, like this very icy stone cold look, great. But I really feel like, considering the parents required to make this horse, I kind of feel like this horse needs a little bit more oomph to it. It really should have had more particle effects. I would have loved to have had like snow flaking off of this horse, for it to be breathing and you can see smoke coming out of its nose, like anything to make this horse seem extra cool and special. I know some people that already like this horse as is, so I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to try and get Foxy to change anything, okay? I don't have that power, but this is just sort of how the horse looks in game, in case you want to breed for this. Next, we have the Solid Stone Friesian. Now, this one was probably the one that disappointed a lot of people, or at least that was the feedback that I originally saw when fantasy breeding originally came out. So the Solid Stone Friesian, the breeding combo for this is the Vulcan Friesian and the Glacier Storm. So the ice horse from the fantasy banner and the Vulcan Friesian. And if you told me these were the parents for this horse, I would have never expected this to be the result of these two horses. I would have thought it would be a lot more icy or like something else. But this is what we have for the Solid Stone Friesian. It's very plain. You have these green colored crystals in its mane and tail. The tail is very short. I know some people are not really a big fan of this. Maybe they were hoping for the tail to be much longer, but I mean, this is what we kind of got for the Solid Stone Friesian. I know a lot of people are disappointed with this, but if you like this, like if you like having a very plain looking horse, like you're not into something that's going to be like super flashy and there's particle effects everywhere, then you might like the Solid Stone Friesian. Personally, I kind of feel like this horse is just missing a lot of oomph, or at least like I didn't expect this horse to look like this, especially knowing the parents for this particular breed. Next, we have the Goldvein Friesian. So this is where things are going to get a little bit more difficult because mastery is going to have to come into play here. To get the Goldvein Friesian, the breeding pair required for this is a Vulcan Friesian and a Dust Gold Arabian. But the catch is you need to have 2 mastery on your Vulcan Friesian, meaning you have to have at least 2 copies of a Vulcan Friesian before you can unlock this breeding pair. If you don't have the mastery, even if you try to breed for this, the game won't let you. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you really want the Goldvein Friesian, you have to have 2 Vulcan Friesians on hand. Now, personally, my thoughts on this horse overall, I think it's a really great mix. I think they did a really good job of mixing elements of the Vulcan Friesian and the Dust Gold Arabian together. There's the gold, it's a stone Arabian, and it's got gold veins all around it, literally what the name is. Like, I think it's a perfect fit for what this horse was supposed to be. And the fact that it's got this golden mane and tail that is very similar to the one that the Dust Gold Arabian has, I think this is a really, really pretty horse. I think it's one of the few in the game that has like this very pointed mane and tail combination. I think the only other horses that have this is like the Cosmic Mustang and then maybe like a couple of the Cosmic Mustang hybrids. But outside of that, this is a really unique style of horse. Next up, we have the Crystal Friesian, and this was actually the first one that I bred when fantasy breeding came out, like literally the first horse I bred. Now, to get the Crystal Friesian, this horse has some pretty strict breeding requirements, unfortunately. And if you're new to the game, I don't think you're going to be able to breed this horse anytime soon. The parents required for the Crystal Friesian is the Vulcan Friesian with 4 mastery and a Cosmic Mustang. So not only do you have to have 4 copies of a Vulcan Friesian, but you also have to be incredibly lucky with the horse gacha and get a Cosmic Mustang. And the result of these two is the Crystal Friesian. Now, personal opinion, I own this horse, okay? So I think I've seen everything this horse has to offer. I am actually really disappointed in the result of a Vulcan Friesian and a Cosmic Mustang. I think I had a different point of view. I thought this would be a much more ethereal looking horse. I didn't think it was just going to be purple crystals. I really thought there was going to be some more like sparkle to it, or maybe like some kind of cosmic dust. Like, I don't know what to describe. Like, I also, at the same time, I also don't know what I wanted in this horse. I think it probably could have been really cool to have this like a horse based on a comet that's like filled with jewels, and maybe it's got some kind of like supernatural tinge to it, like a very alien-esque UFO supernatural kind of thing. I think that would have been really cool, considering that this is supposed to come from a flaming horse and a cosmic like space horse, okay? I mean, I love my Cosmic Mustang. That's probably why I thought this was gonna look better. But I know some people do like how this horse looks. It's just, for me, if I could take my money back, I probably would, and I'd breed something else. I'm so sorry, guys. If you like this, I'm happy for you. I'm just personally not a big fan of the Crystal Friesian. And the final Friesian in this family, this is the Electric Marble Friesian. And this is an extremely popular horse in the Stone Friesian family, because just based off of what you see right now, I'm pretty sure you are very tempted to breed this horse as well. So to breed the Electric Marble Friesian, this is probably the toughest horse to breed out of all of the Stone Friesians. Firstly, you need to have a Vulcan Friesian with level 5 mastery. So 5 copies of the Vulcan Friesian. And on top of that, you either need to have the Aratiri Clydesdale or the Maelstrom Clydesdale as the other parent. So any of those 2 horses can be the second parent, but you have to have the Vulcan Friesian with 5 mastery. So I know a long time players, I think they'll have a better chance of breeding this horse because you would have had the time to be able to get the Vulcan mastery. But if you're new to the game and you really want this horse, you're gonna have to start grinding for that mastery like right after watching this video. But guys, like once you breed this horse is gorgeous. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to describe it. It's the floating mane and tail, like the electromagnetic force. Having the mane look like a floating mane, the tail, the electric currents on this horse, and the fact that the electricity is blue as well. Like, don't get me wrong, yellow and white electricity is cool, but blue is probably on a whole different level. But yeah, seriously, this horse is so gorgeous, so pretty. It is not funny, guys. Like, I really love the way this horse looks. If I knew this was going to be the best looking horse in the entire Friesian line, I would have easily have taken my Crystal Friesian money back and bred it for this horse instead. So this is my Crystal Friesian. I only have this horse in the entire Crystal family. I do not own any of the other horses, but I am going to be breeding for them once I have the gems. Let's talk about mastery as well as stats. Just in case anyone is wanting to breed and you want to see if these horses are going to be viable for competitions. So here are the stats overall for all of the stone Friesians. I have already confirmed this information. Every single one of the Friesians showcased today will have the exact same stats as this Crystal Friesian. None of them are going to be different at all. So if you're happy with the stats, you can absolutely breed for any of these horses. But stat-wise, you're looking at 100 speed, 100 stamina, 50 acceleration, 100 agility, and 50 jump. And in my personal opinion, this horse is like in such a weird spot because it has a really strange distribution of stats. They're quick, they have stamina, they're super agile, but they take a little bit of time to get going because of the low acceleration, and they're not really the best jumping horses just because they've invested 100 points into 3 of their stats. If you take a look at their masteries are not too impressive either. So they have a mastery that reduces their stamina usage. You will get this as soon as you breed any horse from this family. So these horses are built to basically run forever. After this, they have another ability called Evercharge. So they're going to be able to increase their speed for every dash. So as long as you keep boosting, your horse will get faster. This is a pretty decent ability. It can come in handy. So I think, if anything, this is probably the best ability on this horse. And then lastly, at 5 mastery, you have this one, Hero's Shield. Don't slow down when hitting obstacles and show jumping across country. Instead, gain some stamina. Guys, this is probably one of the worst abilities in all of Star Equestrian, because if you hit an obstacle, you are not going to be able to get the gold ribbon on that comp anymore. You will be pushed down to 3 ribbons, meaning if you're trying to use this horse to do leaderboard stuff, this ability is going to do nothing for you. This ability will also do nothing for you in races. So unfortunately, this 5 mastery is kind of rubbish. You're kind of okay if you get mastery 3 and that's it. It's just, if you want mastery 5, it should be because you want wild mode or you just collected all the horses. But yeah, mastery wise, if you want to save money, keep it at mastery 3 max. You do not need to go any higher. Additionally, the mastery for these horses. So I kind of didn't make it clear earlier on, but I'm going to make it clear right now. These stone Friesians have their own mastery, like separate from the Vulcan Friesian. And I know some people are upset about this because some people thought that they would be able to breed their Vulcan Friesian to increase the Vulcan mastery. That is not the case, okay? All of the Friesians seen today, they are part of the Stone Friesian family. They will only increase mastery for Stone Friesians. If you want to increase your Vulcan Friesian mastery, you're going to have to just pray every week that your club chest is going to get you that Vulcan Friesian. So yeah, that's everything you guys need to know about the Stone Friesians. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you guys found it helpful as well. Good luck in your fantasy breeding endeavors. I hope you guys get the horse that you want because I do think these Friesians, they are very pretty. Now, although I have a different taste compared to some people, there are some other horses I'm kind of eyeballing right now. But if you want to breed for one of these horses, especially the electric marble, go for it. Some of these horses are absolutely gorgeous, but it's a very, very cute collection of horses. There's going to be something out there for everybody, especially for my Friesian model lovers out there. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like on it so I know that you enjoyed it. And also in case you found this video helpful, because I make these videos for you guys so that you're better informed on your breeding choices in Star Equestrian, because breeding's expensive. If you haven't already, check out my other fantasy collection. My last one was the Atlantean Arabian collection, where I showcase all of the Atlantean Arabians. There are going to be more videos coming out for this series as well. I hope you guys enjoy those and hopefully they come in very helpful for you. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you next time, Star Equestrians. Bye!